Hey, what's up, everybody? Today on Webcam Wrestling, we are doing a very belated, a very late edition of a WrestleMania review. And I at first wasn't going to do this video because I just want to get this out the way. I didn't even see the whole WrestleMania, which a couple months ago I was really watching wrestling 24/7. I was on my shit. And then, I got a new job, time, it sucks, and, oh, I gotta watch Raw on YouTube and shit like that. And I was like, oh, it looks like WrestleMania Day, I'm gonna miss the first, hour and the pre-show. So I was like, that's gonna kinda suck. Watching it not live is just not the same. I still haven't even watched the first, two matches. I haven't watched the pre-show, and I didn't watch the IC triple threat. But that being said, and I was sick for the past week, and I was like, if I film, it's not gonna be coherent. I'm just gonna be coughing the whole time. It's not gonna be a good video. But throughout the entire week, I've just had more and more to say about this fucking event. And even though I didn't see the first hour or so, and I missed the pre-show, I can at least talk about the booking decisions. That's something. I'm just gonna talk about it real quick because that's all I can do really. I can't go in depth on the match. Plus, I've also, it is the 16th as the time I'm recording this. So I've already seen the Raw and SmackDown after. Sometimes it's better for your WrestleMania review to actually know the kind of effects afterward. Like, you can kind of already see, what storylines they're going for and stuff like that. I personally also think reviews are better if you have time to sit on it. It's just wrestling is its own entity. It's like this always moving live vehicle. So it doesn't really work. Whereas movies and stuff, you really should stir on your opinions sometimes. But anyway, that's enough bullshit intro out the way. The pre-show match, Matt Hardy won. He was actually my prediction and who I wanted to win. They finally kind of seemed. I'm gonna hold my breath, but they finally seem to be doing the woken, broken Matt Hardy thing right. The feud at first I hated. At first I was like, no, this is just gonna be a slow burn kind of rivalry. And then they fucked around for a month and a half, 2 months, and I was like, okay, I hate it. And then the final deletion happened. The final deletion was actually pretty cool. There's some dumb parts, but it's supposed to be dumb. I didn't get it, but I'm not supposed to get it. And there was some character development with Bray Wyatt, a character who has needed development. One of my favorite characters. He is the fucking icon for this channel right now, and he is getting fucking buried slowly but surely. And finally, after being dumped in the Lake of Reincarnation and being pulled out by Senor Benjamin, he is apparently also woken. He is a Matt Hardy disciple. He is a child of light now, despite he still dresses like an evil motherfucker and wears the butcher's thing now more, which doesn't make much sense. I really wanted to see, and by the way, he helped Matt win. It was this big cool part. Matt Hardy, another notch under his belt. He was on the roster for a whole year, without a fucking title, or anything. So I think after hustling for a year, maybe you get a trophy. I don't know. And he was by himself a lot of that time, so he was a singles competitor. And it looks like Jeff might be moving to SmackDown. We don't know yet. Probably since Bray and Matt are the new tag team. And I hope they win the tag belts. But yeah, Matt Hardy won. I think that's a cool decision. I like that Bray is a face now. What he did, the Raw after Mania for me was pay-per-view level qualities. A lot because of that Bray Wyatt as a face turn match. And just a lot of the little things that made me pop that night. SmackDown after was cool too. But Bray Wyatt helps Matt. I just want Bray to wear a different costume to kind of signify some change. I think any like heel face turn should warrant like a costume change or something. Sometimes it works, like you can wear the same shit. I don't think Shinsuke was wearing different clothes, but Shinsuke. We'll talk about that when we talk about the AJ versus Shinsuke match. But anyway, that was that. I don't watch 205 Live. I know apparently it's gotten better. I don't know. Cedric Alexander versus Mustafa Ali. Cedric Alexander won. He was not my prediction or my choice. That's nothing against him. I don't know that much about either guy. I don't understand either of their characters. So he's the new cruiserweight champion and will hopefully be running shit around. And he kind of deserves it. He was in the feud for like the past however many months with Enzo and all that bullshit, so I don't really care. And then Naomi won the women's Wrestlemania controversy battle royal. You know, Becky, Sasha, Bailey, Naomi, all these like women who the past couple years, or at least last year, got to be on the card because it was like fatal 4 and 5 ways. Dumb decision. I do like that both the Raw and SmackDown belts were in one-on-one matches. That's kind of like how it should be. But Bailey and Sasha like could have gotten like a match. I would have scrapped that for something else. I would have scrapped that for I don't know. I honestly don't know. It was a pretty packed card. Maybe I would have cut out all the times fucking Paige did her little Paige here, or every time John Cena was in the crowd, just kind of like doing his fucking John Cena thing. But anyway, that's what happened there. The WrestleMania, Naomi won. They continued the Sasha Bailey uh, rivalry, which they seem to just kind of put on the back burner, I guess. Like, what it started almost at elimination, and they seem to still be acting like they're still friends. It doesn't make much sense. I don't know where they're going with it, but I'm sure it's this next pay-per-view it's gonna have the big blow-off. You know, slow burn rivalry that seems to be WWE's thing nowadays. It's better than how like it used to be, where rivalries were like supposed to have all this. Remember a couple years ago, like where the rivalries would start like 2 weeks before WrestleMania, and it's supposed to have this huge build. I like it nowadays where we actually get like a month to 3 month long feuds before we get the matches. I think that adds a lot. But anyway, the opening match was the kid from the dick from Karate Kid versus White Walker Seth versus Finn loves gay people Balor. Triple threat match for the IC belt. And in my predictions and like who I wanted, I think every single title I thought and wanted were going to change. I thought Finn was going to win this belt just because Finn has been like not doing much. Like I thought like okay, he kind of needs it the most. I can kind of see Miz, winning it back maybe down the line to finally get that reign. He doesn't seem to be. I have to remember Vince's boys really are like the WrestleMania winners. When I look at this card and I like look at my predictions, I'm like, oh yeah, Vince's guys always win, and everyone else who it makes sense just kind of. And it's always this fuck boy like it's always the fuck boy booking decisions. It's always like these weird, and sometimes it doesn't affect WrestleMania, and sometimes it really affects WrestleMania. These like questionable booking decisions, where I thought this was a very predictable card, and in a lot of respects it was, but there was so many swerves. But we'll get to that when we actually get to those swerves. So Seth, I didn't get to see this match, by the way, so I can't even comment on the entrances. I can't comment on anything. I saw a clip of the finish. That was cool. I would have been happy with anyone winning it. Seth winning it is kind of like, oh, okay. And Seth, he kind of needs something to do. He's kind of like for his character, Like, he's supposed to be this main event guy. He feels like a main event guy, but he doesn't feel like he just needs a better character. His character just isn't as strong, especially as a face. He needs that heel turn, man. This would have been a really good if he would have turned heel on Finn. I think that would have been the better story. But we would have seen 2 heel turns in the night, so maybe that would have been kind of weird. But anyway, Seth won. Bravo for Seth. I don't know what Finn's gonna do. He'll probably move to SmackDown just so he has. Well, AJ and Finn. That's a fucking main event right there. But anyway, the next match was Charlotte Flair versus Asuka. And I have a lot of conflicting opinions about this match. I think most people do. On one hand, I feel like Asuka didn't really get the shine she got. I didn't feel she got the shine she could have got. Sure, she has this really long streak, but at the same time, it was all in NXT. She wasn't really undefeated in WWE that long. And it also feels like Vince McMahon is just like not into certain characters and he doesn't want them to succeed. And it kind of makes me feel like the Women's Royal Rumble didn't matter as much because the winner just lost. And it kind of feels like Charlotte Flair is being pushed to the moon and back when I feel like she's already I feel like I'm burnt out on this character a little bit, which I like it. I like her a lot. I think she's probably one of, if not the best person on the roster. I like her more than Becky, Sasha, all of them. But to see her, like, I was Raw Women's Champion for the longest time. Let's go over to SmackDown. Let's have Natalya win, just so I have someone to take the belt off of. And let me go all the way to WrestleMania and fight the Women's Royal Rumble winner. And let me make her tap out. And let me make Asuka congratulate me afterward because I'm that fucking great. Like, that's such a fucking, okay, Jesus, yeah, we get it. You're really fucking awesome, Charlotte. Just why can't Asuka get like a little bit? And Asuka, her character just doesn't seem to make a whole lot of sense. She's supposed to be like this kind of like sadistic, like she really likes fighting and hurting people, but then you got her like getting bullied, not bullied, but just brutalized by Nia Jax, which, you know, she's the WrestleMania like girl, so it makes sense that she'd get a big push. But at the same time, like, Asuka looks like a little bitch, and then she, like, a lot of her matches she's kind of booked to just kind of be like the Iron Woman, like she just outlasts her opponents. Like, she had even matches with like Sasha, Alicia Fox, where she like let her opponent get a lot of offense. She's not like this dominant woman. When I feel like her character, the statistic, like smiling and like all that, like, and I feel like her swagger thing, I feel like all that character makes sense. But then when you have her like getting brutalized and then she's like, Charlotte, good job, like, I just don't know how to feel about that. And it was a real moment, that hug. Like, I was like, oh, like, I kind of got swept up, and I thought it was a real genuine moment. Kind of ruined by the fact that John Cena's storyline literally just bulldozed by it. And that makes me feel like Vince McMahon or whoever makes these decisions really just doesn't care about this. It's just like, oh yeah, Charlotte. Yeah, her. I feel like Asuka was just built up. But at the same time, a big part of me feels like, when else would Asuka lose? Like, this was streak versus title. This is like either or. Like, I would have been happy with either one winning it, in all honesty. But a part of me also feels like, I feel like Asuka deserved it more. But then part of me says, when would Asuka lose it? What is Asuka going to do? She's going to have a title reign. And who is there on SmackDown Live that can beat her? Carmella's cash-in, but that we're not going to break an undefeated streak with a cash-in. That's just kind of fucked up. We got Naomi, Becky, no. Natalya, no. Even the iconic girls, fuck them. They're not going to do anything. Ruby Riott and her squad, they're not gonna do anything. Anyone on Raw who gets drafted over, like, no one would beat her. So I kind of feel like, okay, she has to lose at WrestleMania, and the only person I can see beating her is Charlotte. It just feels so early, and it feels like Charlotte is just getting pushed too hard and making her tap out. Like, god damn. Like, give me a fucking break a little bit. And the congratulation thing, I don't know. But the next, that was that. I'm not gonna do star ratings, by the way. This is the first match I watched. Um, I will say, you know, if I were to rate it, I'd probably get like 3 stars. I don't really do star ratings. I don't really do ratings for matches. I feel weird about it. But it was a good match. It was a good match. Just really conflicting opinions. It's one of those, like, if I were to give it like a 6 out of 10, that's because it was an 8 out of 10, but then it's getting held back for conflicting reasons. But anyway, the next match was the Fatal 4-Way between Jinder Mahal, Randy Orton, Bobby Roode, and Rusev. First off, Rusev obviously should have won. There's obviously a lot of fuckery going around with his contract and the fact that he is the next alumni to be added to the got over without WWE's approval, and they're kind of pissed about that group. Like, and I get it. I get it. And it's like, we should reward you for making t-shirt sales, so we're gonna let you be in the WrestleMania match. But we're paying these other guys. We're paying Randy Orton like millions of dollars a year, so he's gonna be a much bigger deal. He's not gonna take the pinfall. Bobby Roode, we like him. He's not gonna take the pinfall. Jinder Mahal, he's muscular and veiny right now, so he's gonna get the belt. Fuck you, WWE Universe. And I like that I love the Singh brothers, whichever one is still around. I like Jinder's intro. I think that it's hilarious that the guy they're hyping up can't even wear a fucking costume hat down to the ring without like looking ridiculous, and that he like put it in his mouth like he didn't know what to do. I was like, look at Jinder, just try like his WrestleMania card debut, and he can't even fucking make it to the ring without embarrassing himself. And I just thought that was really funny. And then he wins over fucking Rusev, who's just coming out to this grand fucking praise of Rusev Day. His name is chanted in the main event, and he eats the pinfall. And I had to go out and buy drinks for everyone that I was watching this with during this match, so I didn't even get to see this whole match. I really hate that. I hate that that's what life has become. I don't have time for things. But yeah, that was that match. Stupid booking decision. Jinder Mahal, sure, like he's a good enough heel to be United States champion, not WWE champion. Uh, and this whole rivalry got started on a stupid ass idea. And I know Rusev just kind of got inserted because of the hype, but that happens all the time. Like the Hardy Boys last year got inserted literally seconds before the match started, and we all loved the fact that they won the title. And we didn't Enzo and Cass didn't even win the tag titles, and we were okay with that, like because the Hardy Boys. Anyway, that was that match. That match, I was like, my prediction, who I wanted, was Rusev. And I was like, they'd be really stupid not to choose Rusev, the most over guy on SmackDown Live. But he, for whatever reason, ate the pinfall because Vince's boys. The next match was the surprise hit, the mixed tag team between Ronda Rousey and Kurt Angle versus Triple H and Stephanie McMahon. And this match shocked a lot of people. I'm surprised Ronda did as well as she did. She is much better in the ring than she is on the mic, which makes sense because she's an athlete and not an actress, despite the fact that she's trying to be an actress. Really, really cool idea. This whole match idea was really interesting because we have these actual athletes versus these WWE icons, and then they actually pull off a really exciting match. I think that the storyline here where Stephanie McMahon is trying to be like, this is my house, like, I'm a badass biker chick and this is my husband, and like she has all this confidence and she's trying to be like, she's trying to live up to her father's name and be this courageous person going out to war, and then like when she gets stuck in a corner she's like, oh no, don't fucking hit me. Like, I think in the ring Stephanie is a great character. She, like, when she takes bumps at WrestleMania, it's great. But and she had that one weird intro at WrestleMania 31. Like, her character makes a lot of sense in the ring and is pretty great in the ring, but like the other 364 days, take it or leave it. But yeah, this was just a surprise fun match. I liked it a lot. Not only did Ronda like live up to the match, but she lived up to like this WrestleMania speed where everyone's on like adrenaline 500 and like they're moving at fucking this huge speed because the matches they're supposed to be big and huge and still move at a really fast pace, despite AJ and Shinsuke didn't do that. But this match did, and it was awesome. And those honestly make for better matches when the pacing is like, it's super fast. And you know, there's 100 different ways you could do pacing. You could have like a slow burn, but it like gets intense. You could have like a solid like speed, or you could have this where it's just like boom, 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 spot, 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 which really works for tag teams. Tag teams can make really dope matches because everyone has like, okay, breathe, do a spot. Okay, now you do a spot. Let me breathe. Okay, I do a spot. Breathe. You do a spot. Breathe. Like, anyway, that's what they did here. It was really cool. Like, it kind of sucks that this whole like storyline is, you know, over and done with already, but I thought it was cool. And it finally made that WrestleMania, what was it, 30? No, 30. Yeah, it was WrestleMania 30, wasn't it? No. Which WrestleMania was it? Was it the one where Sting lost, Undertaker fought Wyatt in the daytime? 30, which one was it? Because I said 32 before, but I feel like that was, I'm forgetting. 32 is when Roman beat Triple H, and then 31 is the one I'm thinking of. Okay. Now that we're at 34, all these other ones are just kind of blurring. Like 33, that's one I went to. 32, 31 is I'm going to get confused with now. But anyway, the next match, another tag team match, triple threat. Bludgeon Brothers versus the Usos versus the New Day. It's weird. Like, this is one of the ones where I'm like, because I was like, Vince's boys. But this one, I really don't understand, like, his thoughts on the Usos. Because they really sometimes are booked to be like, they'll beat the Wyatts at the height of their peak in a steel cage in a main event. But then, like, there will be no WrestleMania matches given out for them. Then they'll get this huge tag team title reign. The Uso Penitentiary, they're going to beat every version of American Alpha. They're going to beat the New Day. They're going to beat, like, all these guys. And then he obviously likes the New Day. And he hates the Bludgeon Brothers. But he obviously just hyped up the Bludgeon Brothers up to WrestleMania so they could win the belt. And it feels weird because the Usos finally, it was like, okay, they are on the motherfucking card after all these years. And then they just kind of get squashed. Like, that really, and with the Usos, I mean, or with the New Day, who they've been, I felt like this should have been like kind of a culmination of the past year of them fucking doing it. But it kind of just is like, oh, okay. Like, and at the same time, I wanted the Bludgeon Brothers to win. Like, and they were my prediction. But I was kind of like, okay, like, and the new should the New Day should have even been in this match, and if they were, shouldn't they have had better chemistry? What really happened is this got turned into a 5-minute match because it was the one thing that they could cut on time. Cut some time on the United States match. I don't know. Like, if you're gonna have Jinder win, just have him fucking roll up somebody in the first 20 seconds just to get it over with. Still getting over my sickness. After that, there was the whole Undertaker John Cena thing where John Cena, like, he was in the crowd the whole night because he's been he's been calling out the Undertaker, who's supposed to be retired. He left his gear in the ring, but then the gear appeared in the ring and then it disappeared, and it was like, I don't know what they're doing with the Undertaker, man. I haven't known what they've been doing with Undertaker since WrestleMania 30. It was like, okay, now that you've lost the streak, are you even gonna show up at WrestleMania? Okay, you are. You're just gonna squash Bray Wyatt. Okay, you're just gonna have a real fight with Shane McMahon. Okay, and then next year you're gonna lose to Roman Reigns. Okay, you're retired. That makes sense. Next year rolls around, and now you're doing this weird thing with John Cena. And it was like, okay, the way the gear, like, kind of, he got shit talked to the point where he was like, let me put on this fucking gear, beat your ass. Okay, now I'm retired. Get another win for the books. Now he's fucking 25 or some shit, and 2. Weird ass streak. And then now he's having a casket match with Chris Jericho at the Greatest Royal Rumble. I don't know if he's going to retire at Survivor Series. I kind of feel like that makes the most sense at this point. And then the WrestleMania 33 was his WrestleMania official retirement, but then he had an unofficial comeback match. I don't know what they're doing with Undertaker, man. I don't know. But that's the closest thing I can guess. This man is like maybe that's why he's called the dead man. Because he will not fucking die. We thought he was going to retire a decade ago. I've been thinking he's going to leave anytime since then. But no, he fucking is still wrestling. Badly. And that's why we have to have him squash John Cena. Which would have been a cool match, like, a decade ago. But, now we can finally say it happened. And Vince McMahon can jack off to that match whenever he wants to. Anyway, the next match was Shane and Daniel versus Kevin and Sami, which, don't get me wrong, again, conflicting opinions about this match. A part of me thinks, why is Shane McMahon in a high-profile match at WrestleMania 34 when nobody gives a shit about him anymore? And why is he siding with Daniel Bryan, who he's been feuding against for the past couple months? Shane and Daniel, like, that doesn't make any sense. Why are they in a tag team together? And they're fighting Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, which makes sense for Shane McMahon. But why is Daniel in the match? Daniel should be coming back in a singles match. And all these other things, we're just going to use Daniel's momentum to get Shane over because Shane is one of Vince's boys at this point in time, and he's going to have all these high-profile matches at the big 4 pay-per-views, and even though he sucks in the ring and he just breaks his body and he can't, like, he breaks his body doing stupid shit, getting power bombed and fucking. But when he jumps off fucking Hell in a Cell, that's when he's like, oh, I'm straight, guys. But yeah, Daniel Bryan came back, and that was cool. Didn't think I'd ever see that again. This was one of the best cards ever. And this is the only one where I was like, that's really fucking cool, but at the same time, like, I can see Daniel coming back to fight Kevin and Sami. Just get rid of Shane McMahon. Just get rid of Shane McMahon. he didn't come down to the ring this year with his kids. That was cool. Daniel got the W. It wasn't Shane, thank God. Thank fucking God. But Daniel Bryan is back. Yay, cool. Now we can move forward and have him fight AJ, have him fight Shinsuke, have him fight Finn, have him fight this whole new wave of amazing wrestlers. Like, I don't know how the card went from, like, WrestleMania, what was it, 31? Whichever one had Triple H versus Roman. Which was that? That was 32. We went from WrestleMania 32, where there was nobody. Like, we were upset because a couple of our favorite guys, like Seth, were injured. And we were like, damn, there's nobody on the card. There's no, like, people who can main event this thing. Now it's WrestleMania 34, and we're like, damn. Like, is Bray Wyatt gonna be on the main show? Is Sasha Banks gonna be on the main show? Is Finn, like, what is Finn doing this year? Does he have a match? Does John Cena have a match this year? I don't know. We can squeeze a squash match in for you, John. Like, what world are we living in? Like, Kevin Owens doesn't have a big match. Like, that's surprising. Yeah, it really is. A lot of different times we're living in. But anyway, the next match, I focus on that way too long. Nia Jax versus Alexa Bliss. And I thought, like, the build-ups for some of these were much better than most years. This was another one where I was like, Nia Jax and Alexa Bliss. I saw that coming like a month or two ago. And I was like, okay, that makes sense. Nia has been built up for a while now. Alexa has had that belt too long. They were on and off again friends, which made no sense. But if it leads up to this, maybe I'll be okay with it. And then they had the whole bullying thing, but that turned into Nia being a face, and some parts of it were dumb, and some parts of it were really good. And it all led up to this. Nia Jax just took out Mickie James right before the match began. I loved that. Alexa Bliss had this cool entrance, and then Nia, kind of like, it led up to her, like, it was like a cat and mouse chase where the cat finally, like, caught the mouse, and we were all waiting for her to do that. We were all waiting for Nia just to throw her around the ring and beat her ass, and she did. And you know that they have this backstage connection, and on screen they're supposed to have, like, it doesn't always, like, catch on, but because Nia is a bad actor, which nothing wrong with that. You know, she gets through it most of the time. But there was that part where she was like, I loved you. And that actually, like, you could tell she was being serious because obviously they're good friends. But her character, like, you felt that. You felt that a little bit. And then, boom, took her out. New women's champion. Hell yeah. Didn't win a Royal Rumble to get there. But whatever. I'm super happy with that. Nia Jax can, like, lose the belt realistically to a couple of different people, Ember Moon being one of them. I think that she might feud with an actual heel before then. Maybe she'll feud around with Alexa for like another month. I don't know. I'm cool with that. I like their feud enough to see it go on for a sequel. All happy days for this match. Obviously, Alexa and Nia aren't going to have, like, great in-ring chemistry because, like, Alexa's way too small and Nia's way too big. And most of the time with those underdog stories, they take down the giant. But Alexa's a heel, so we don't want to see that. So it became this cat and mouse thing, much more sensible. Just doesn't make for a great match. But anyway, the next match was AJ Styles versus Shinsuke Nakamura, which was, if you're going to hype a match or a rivalry up around the fact that they're going to have a good match, like, I remember when Shinsuke and AJ were at, I think it was Money in the Bank, or it was it was Money in the Bank, I believe. I want to say it was Money in the Bank. let's say it was Money in the Bank, because I'm 90% sure it was. They were at Money in the Bank, and they had this glorious moment where the crowd was going, AJ Styles, Shinsuke. Or it was AJ Styles, Nakamura. AJ Styles. Like, it was just great, and they were just, you could feel the energy between those two guys. And even this feud, they've had a couple moments where they really clicked. But for whatever reason, they had this really slow and boring match. It was an alright match, which, it was a little bit better because Shinsuke went heel after the match. That made, like, the storyline purpose of it not useless. AJ retained, which, I was kind of okay with, but at the same time, what is Shinsuke going to do? You're going to win the Royal Rumble, win at WrestleMania, or lose at WrestleMania, and it's like, oh, well, AJ seems to be one of Vince's boys, in all honesty. He's booked like one of Vince's boys. So, that's kind of just makes you kind of go like, oh, okay, whatever. Dream match canceled. It was supposed to be a dream match, guys. Like, they had enough time. Like, I just don't. Maybe, like, they're just, I don't know. This should have been a lot better. Like, they were doing, like, headlocks for, like, minutes. Did someone, like, go, okay, like, before you stepped out, did someone just stop you and go, like, hey, you gotta suck out there? And then, like, just like, okay, now go to the ring. I don't know what happened. This should have been a really cool match. I like the Shinsuke turn. That's about it. And then there was the Braun Strowman and Nicholas match. And I have Wikipedia pulled up here with all the match. And they have a Wikipedia page for Nicholas. I don't know anything about Nicholas. I guess... okay. He's one of the referee's sons. Okay. Because I knew they couldn't have just picked, like, they couldn't have just let some random kid, like, hey, like, stopped him on the street, like, do you want to win the belt at WrestleMania tomorrow? Like, I know that couldn't have been anybody. But yeah. This was cute. I kind of felt like you could have had someone return here. I honestly thought they were going to have Bray in a new character. Like, before I didn't know he was going to be in a tag team with Matt, which is, just as cool. But I thought he might be a new character, and, maybe have Braun and him become a tag team. That way Bray finally kind of gets boosted. But I feel like, oh, no, Bray's a weird person. Braun is so much more over than Bray, it's sad. There was a time when it was like, Braun was just a crony for Bray. God damn it. Times have changed. Now Braun, it's like, oh, you're not going to put him in the main event of WrestleMania? Like, that's how over and huge he is. But yeah, this was a cute match. This is one of the things I'm talking about where if I didn't see the Raw after WrestleMania and see that they just gave up the tag team anyway, I kind of would have been like more conflicted. But now after seeing that, I was kind of like, oh, okay, that's cool. Like, this random kid who has a title belt under in the history books, this random ass kid is just in there kind of just going like, I think that's cool. Braun obviously deserves to have a belt under him finally. And this is just a fun little thing. Like, I thought it was harmless and really cool. I liked it. I liked this match. And the bar, we have all these other tag teams right now. They can lose the belt. We can have this tag team, whatever it was, to see who gets. And that way you don't have to give them a rematch if they vacate the belt. So you can just quickly move on. Anyway, the main event. Oh, God. Where to even begin with this match? The crowd was a lot more mean than I thought they would be. They were just throwing beach balls, just straight doing the whole, this is awful, Rusev Day. What else did I hear? I think they chanted Nicholas, the little kid from the last match. Ugh. And I really want to be backstage with Vince. I want to be sitting right next to Vince McMahon. Just kind of be like going like, 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 like I can see him just trying to jack off to this match, and then like all these beach balls and people just telling him it's awful. Like I really just want to be there with him. Like I just kind of see him like. But this match, like, turned out to be something else. Like, this... He was trying to make it the biggest match ever. He's like, let's build up the F5. That way, Roman can kick out of 5 motherfucking F5s. Through the table. Kick out. Kick out of a spear, even though that's supposed to be a big deal. Which it was when you just spam finishers, that's not a good match. Like I know that these false finishes make for really cool moments, but when your match is just false finishers, sure, it worked with Goldberg and Brock last year. That wasn't the main event. It was okay. And Undertaker's retirement was supposed to be the last match, but now they've kind of ruined that. Goddamn pro wrestling, man. Just it's every time it's like, okay, and then it's like what, and then it's like, okay, what? Like that's your feelings as a pro wrestling fan. But yeah, not much else to say. This match kind of got ruined because the crowd and the fact that they just spam bullshit ass finishers. Like if Roman was supposed to get over, and then Roman had a weird promo on Raw where I was kind of like, "Are you bitching about having a title match at the Greatest Royal Rumble?" And I was just kind of like, "You got fucking destroyed. You got put down. Like you shouldn't be. You don't need a rematch. You lost." And never in a million years would I think of both Royal Rumble winners and the Elimination Chamber winner Roman Reigns would lose. Because I thought for sure Roman was going to win. I was fairly sure Shinsuke would win. And I was fairly sure Asuka would win. I never would have predicted all 3 of them, especially Roman, would lose. And sure, that was a huge surprise. I kind of feel like the main event of WrestleMania like left on a sour note where there was no confetti, there was no like feeling of like, oh, this is like they want me to hate Brock Lesnar and they fucking succeeded. Like I don't want to see him have the belt for another minute because I'm sick of not seeing the champion, not even the Raw after Mania. And his fights are now just spamming finishers. Like, I want more out of my the main fucking belt. I want a little bit more out of it. I don't know, man. I don't know. I'd rather have Kevin Owens be Universal Champion again, even if he fucking has these bullshit ass... I'm gonna get the rants over. The rants are over. So the main event of WrestleMania kind of got fucked with because of Brock Lesnar and contracts and UFC, and Roman Reigns seems to be upset about it, but I don't know if that's kayfabe or not. I don't really care. Like, I didn't really care that much about the match to begin with. It had a pretty good feud to make me kind of care. Then it got ruined. That's the main event of WrestleMania 34. Good night. Like, that was it. That's how they treated it. Like... And it got a this is awful. I've never heard that chant before. If that is the birth of that chant, WrestleMania 34, damn. Ron Simmons, all the way. That's how he should have just came out. Like, just another F5. 1, 2, 3. Ron Simmons just like, damn. That's the WrestleMania. That's what we leave off with. And if I were to rate that match, I'd probably give it a 1 out of 5. Which, when you have like 10 finishers in one match, it should be like a big deal. But it really felt like I was kind of like, everyone I was watching this with and everyone in the crowd just kind of seemed to be like, okay, another F5, okay, like that was the feeling I got. Yeah, didn't really feel all that cool. Didn't really feel like a main event match. Didn't really feel like anything special. It just kind of felt like another match. If Shinsuke and AJ had an amazing match, they should have been last. But I don't know. There was no like it match. I know some people thought Triple H and Ronda, that match was like a 5 out of 5. I didn't feel like it was. I don't know. I didn't feel like it was. So I kind of feel like I don't have like an it match. And that's really weird because when I looked at this card, I was like, this is one of the best fucking cards ever. But then, the fuckery booking, I don't want to say ruined the show, but it was another year where I was just like, it was kind of like the one WrestleMania was Triple H and Roman. You gotta get Roman Reigns out of these main events, man. Like, I can't do it anymore. He's ruined like 4 WrestleManias. He didn't give a shit when he won the title. When he fought Brock the first time, that was only cool because of Seth. Triple H was boring. The Undertaker thing now is just a bad match and isn't even his retirement. And now you got this. A bad, terrible match to end WrestleMania with the bad guy winning. Like, this is like the 4th or 5th pay-per-view where Brock Lesnar, it's like, oh, Brock Lesnar wins, walks out. And I'm just like, what the fuck? Like, ruined that SummerSlam with Randy Orton, ruined the match with Braun at Great Balls of Fire, ruined the or was that Samoa Joe? I don't fucking care. I don't fucking know. Ruining these fucking pay-per-views, man. Don't get rid of Brock and Roman, and WWE will be a lot better. Or just make Roman heel, put him on SmackDown. I don't give a shit what you do with Brock. Anyway, I think that's everything I have to say about WrestleMania 34. I've been going for almost an hour now. Considering I didn't watch the first, technically, like 3 hours, that's pretty good. So, that was another WrestleMania in the books. I hope you guys enjoyed my thoughts and opinions and my charisma that I bring to the table every day. Anyway, I hope you guys have another good day, and I'll see you next time with another video here on Webcam Wrestling. I've been talking for a while, and it's been really hard because I'm still kind of sick. But thank you guys. I appreciate your understanding. I got through the video. I'm gonna go rest now. Thank you, everyone, and with that, I leave you.